Hello everyone, and happy Friday to you. I am Moby the Yarny, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for stopping by. And my channel is about crocheting, of course, and sometimes I talk about yarn and show you all the lovely yarn I might get into. And sometimes I do talk about knitting when I have a knitting project going, but right now I do not. And sorry, my voice is a little bit hoarse today, but that happens sometimes. Our weather is kind of crazy. We're back in the 30s. I think it was in the 20s last night. I think spring does not know that it's spring here. So I think next week it's supposed to be in the 60s, hopefully. But we'll have a day in the 60s and then go back to the 30s. So I can't wait for the warm weather, and usually I don't say that, but this time I'm looking forward to it. So last week I showed you 3 projects that I finished, and so since I finished 3 projects, I thought I started 3 projects, but I actually started 4, so I'm going to show you what I started. So I'll get rid of some of these things that I don't need, but so I started something different, which usually I wouldn't try, but I watch Jada in Stitches, and she was doing the unblanket this year. Instead of a blanket she would usually do a blanket for the months of the year and add a square to it, but she did what she's calling the unblanket, where she's making a different square. And you have the prerogative whether you want to put them all together into a blanket or make them into wall hangings. And I thought the one she was doing for this month was cute, so I decided to give it a try. So this is the one for April, and I didn't get it all finished yet. It's got a little Easter bunny that goes on it, and I'm working on flowers, and it's got 2 little Easter eggs, and there's other things that go on it. But you're supposed to applique them on as you go along. So I have a few things more to finish. There's some balloons and a little bird that goes on there, but I think I might put maybe a cloud and sun on there, because that's, you can change up whatever you want. But yeah, so this is it. And then it's like the Fairlisle work that you have to carry your yarn as you go. But this one I'm using, let's see here. I've had this pack. Ooh, that hurt. Yeah, I'm having a lot of issues because it's raining a lot, but this I've had for a bit, and I wasn't sure what to do with it, but I've had this Super Saver kit. And since this is not a wearable, it won't be touching anyone's skin, I did put the slots in to hang it up, because that's what I plan on doing with it. I'm going to hang it on the wall, but it has all these different colors in it, and I used the green from it and the brown. The blue is some scrap yarn that I had, which is actually, I believe it is a Pound of Love blue that I had, and that's what that blue is. And then the border was a new one I just got. It's a Loops and Threads Soft Classic, and it's the color, see if I can find it, Primrose Multi is what it's called. So that's what that is. That's one of the ones I picked up during their sale that they were having. So I used that for the border because I thought it looked springy. Mine looks nothing like hers because she chose totally different colors. I mean, she chose blues and greens. Maybe the brown might be the same. My border's different. Even my bunny's a different color. I think hers is beige, and I made mine white. My flowers might be the same, but she has a tutorial for all the things on her channel. I didn't follow her Easter egg tutorial. I did mine my own way, but she does have a tutorial for the whole thing on there. But this is what I was using for it, except these 2. For the eggs, I went to, these are Dollar Tree Crafter Square yarns, and they were speckled, so I thought they would look cute as the eggs. And one is pink, and one is the beige. And let me see if I can find a colorway for these. I don't know if they have a color, just a number. Light Leaguer, Leger is what they're calling that one. I'll say both the same for that. And they just have numbers for them. I don't see an actual color name. Yeah, there's just a color number. This one is 50099 1107. Which is, and this one is 005, and this one is 004. So they don't actually have a color name. But I liked how they had the little specks in them, so I used them for the Easter eggs. So yeah, so it's not really a scrap project, but it's a cheap project to do. I mean, you could use scrap yarn for these because the things you're making are not very big at all. And she has one for January that I would like to try because it has like a wood scene and a polar bear. That's really cute. So I think I'm going to try that one too. I don't think I'm going to do all of them because I have other things to do. Because I did start 3 other projects besides this one. This one I'm just doing, I'm still working on my pulling project, but I did majority of this week just do the pulling project. But I get bored really easy working on the same thing too long. So to escape that boredom with the same crochet project, I do a different crochet project, which it might sound weird, but that's what I do. So then I started another one. Maybe I'll show this one first, which I've had a few magazines I bought recently. And then this one is Simply Crochet. And right on the front is the project that I decided to give a try. And it is called the Sugar and Spice Shawl. And it uses specific yarns. This is actually a book from the UK also. I believe so. Yes. This is a UK book. And that tells you to use colors. They want you to use colors from the King Cole Bramble, King Cole DKs. What they use is a white, and all the other colors are a multicolored ball to make all the other colors. But I decided to use scrap yarn again to make all the other colors, which I have a lot of scrap yarn, and I'm just following the pattern to make the squares. So I just pulled out a bunch of my scrap yarn and put them all together in some colors, and most of them are pastels that I picked, and I've made a few so far. I think I had a third one started. I must have left it somewhere. Yeah, I did. So this is what the squares look like. And they work up really easy because you're using treble crochet. And I did both of these in like 15 minutes because they're so fast to work up. And the first one, the first corner one is a little bigger than the rest. So because it holds the corner part, the triangle, where the triangle is. And then there's a few, there's 8 or 10 half sizes where you actually make, they would look like this, like half the shape that go along the edge of them. And yeah, it's going to be pretty easy to do. And again, I'm just working on it piece by piece. And most of this is scrap yarn. Most of these are Karen 1-pounders that I had left over from other projects, or I'm telling the truth, I can't tell you what half of them are, because when I get done, I ball them up. Except this one here is a Just Yarn, Premier Just Yarn from the Dollar Tree, which I picked up a few when I was there of different colors, thinking I'll do something with them. So that got thrown in there, and I have different shades of pink. Not even sure what this was from either, but I like the different shades of the colors, different purples, different blues, different greens. Some of these I might not use at all. I might make 2 or 3 of the same color, but I decided to give that a try, and it's working up really easy. And I am using a G-hook, I think, unless this was it. Yes, I'm using a G-hook for this project. So it's making it a little lacy, but which seems to be the hooks I'm using lately is this one. But yeah, so this is the Simply Crochet magazine, and I've had this issue for a while, and I don't see, it just says it was developed by the West Yorkshire Spinners, who came up with this pattern, the sugar and spice shawl. But yeah, I like how it looked. Of course, you could make that any colors that you would like. You know, you could go with dark shades if you wanted. I could see that in a bunch of fall colors. And you could even make these squares and turn it into a blanket, which would be easy to do. But that's that one. And then the third one that I started was from another magazine. And I believe I showed it to you last week, which was one that I said I wanted to try, which was the Portuguese tile blanket. And I decided to change the colors, which instead of making it the blues, yellow, and white, I went with, let me see if I can find that one. I went with these colors. I did have yellow and slight blues, but different shades. So when they're finished, I think I will like them. And I started, there's five different tiles, and you work them together. So I like the way they're turning out. And you know, you could do that yourself, just make up different tiles, the way it's called a tile is the actual stitch on this is they make this last thing here that pops out. I don't know if you can really see it, is they use a back loop. You go in the back loop only, and it makes this ridge stick out, so it makes it look like a tile on the blanket. On this one, you can't see it as well with the yellow, but it does stick out. And I haven't put the last row on this one yet, so that'll be the row on this one that sticks out on the white. which I'll do it on with the blue. But I've got 3 of them so far. And there's, let's see, I still have to do this inner edging that they have on it, this part around here. So the middle square is surrounded with this inner edging, so you're not doing so many of them. But if you think about this kind of a blanket here that has all these different squares, you could do varieties of those into one blanket. So if you bought one book with different blankets in it, you could make multiple different blankets. So, but I decided to try this one because I liked how it looked, but I did change the colors. And the colors I'm using, again, I have 2 of the Dollar Tree yarns, which is, this one is Ballet Slipper. It does have a color name. And this one is just plain yellow. And then I have this big one here, which is going to be my main base of the color, which I do have a few of those. So this one is the Karen 1 pound in the color Soft Sage, and all these are 4 weights that I'm using. And then this one also came from the Dollar Tree, which one of my grandsons bought me for my birthday. Now, my daughter always takes my grandkids. She's been doing it since they were little, and they still do it. She would take them to the Dollar Tree and let them buy. I think he got it for me for Christmas, actually. Let them buy what they want for us for Christmas, so they can pick it out. But he went into the other section where it costs a little more, but they had these big things of the Premier yarn, which I believe this was $5 for this one. So he splurged on me because he knows I like yarn, and he bought me the big yarn. So I'm using that for this blanket. So this is just the white, and it is a 4 weight, but it also came from the Dollar Tree. So you can make beautiful things with scrappy yarn and yarn that doesn't cost a lot. So I challenge you to make something with your scrap yarn. I have a lot of scrap yarn projects going on right now. There's the one sweater that I have not shown anyone yet. That is going to be a floor length sweater that's made out of yarn left over from other projects, because I tend to like to get big things of yarn so you can use them again, not just for one project. So I am making a floor length sweater using leftover Karen 1 pounder cakes or Pound of Loves. So yeah, it's going to be a scrap yarn project, but you're not going to be able to tell that it's a scrap yarn. And then I do have one more that I started, which I almost forgot that I did start it, because I had bought all of this loops and threads when I went to Michael's. I bought six of these, yes. And I spent $15.50 because these were listed at $3.99 each, but I did have a $10 off coupon from the last purchase I had made there, so I got them really cheap. And I plan on making new blankets for the grandkids because they've probably outgrown the ones I made them or wore them out. So a few of the boys said they just wanted blues, different shades of blue, and this has a lot of shades of blue. So I decided to try this one, and I'm just doing it in different stitches just to see how this colorway goes, and I like how it's turning out so far. It seems to be striping really well without me controlling the color. I was thinking about adding another color to it, but I think I'm just going to leave it as it is. If I need more, I can get more, because I have 2 Michaels by me that they do have more of this yarn. And if not, I can order some more. But yeah, I'm just doing similar to what I did with the Easter blanket. I'm just following the lead from that, just doing different stitching. So I've only got 15 rows so far on it. So, and this is very soft and stretchy yarn. It does not feel like Red Heart Super Saver yarn. This is soft and stretchy. It almost feels like it's already been laundered and put with fabric softener. That has the feel of it. So, and it's very stretchy. So I like it already. So that is what I've been up to this week, besides working on this behemoth blanket that I'm working with. So I only have 3 of these left, because I just balled up another one, because some of them are backwards and I have to ball them to get them to flow right, which I don't mind, because it doesn't take long to ball one, because these are only let's see, they are 236 yards, so it doesn't take long. They're 141 grams, 5 ounce. So, these are the neon stripes, the Super Saver stripes, the neon stripes, and I will just show you how big it is so far, which I was sweating to death last night working on it because it's getting so heavy. This is the side version of it. When I have this folded, but if you see the length of it, it is as long as my queen size bed, so it is very lengthy, and it goes through the color changes. So it is very weighty, and when I get finished with the other 4, yeah, this one and the other 2 that's in there, and I have this ball here that I'm working with. When I get through with those, I'm going to put a large border around it. I will probably do one of the, maybe the border I put around the baby blanket, or something similar to that. A nice thick border will go around the edge of that. And I've been saving a big ball of the black. I think it's actually it is a Super Saver black, but this will go in the laundry and be fabric softened just to lighten it up a bit. Because this yarn, even though it says it's a 4 weight, it is very thin. To me, it comes off as a 3 weight. I don't know if you can see that. It's very thin. I look very pale. So yeah, so this is a very thin for their 4 weights, if you can see. I don't even think I have any Super Saver over here. I've not been buying Super Saver lately, because I've mostly been buying the Carons and those big jumbo things. But yeah, it's a very thin, it's a thin 4 weight. So that's what I've been working on. I have not started this one yet, because I haven't decided which green I want, because I have to get a green, because I don't like any of the greens I have. I need a different green than I have. I have greens that it's not the right luster, I would say, or the sheen to it. I need a different sheen, if that makes any sense. For this kind of project, I want a different look to it than the greens that I have. I have greens with that are shiny. They have the sparkle in them. I don't want that. And the other ones are like a fat yarn, which I don't want. The colors are just off a little bit. So I'm still looking for the right green. So when I get the right green, then I will do a few squares of these to see how they turn out. And I might change the flower a little bit because it seems a little excessive. But we will see. I might just go with what they have. But, yep, that's what I'm working on. So, that's it for this week. And I thank you for joining me. And I'm still working on the little sheepy that I was working on. I haven't finished him. And I'm still looking for my little hedgehog. I am not sure where he ended up. But I do have a lot of boxes over here, and he's probably in one of them. So I'm gonna have to go through. I'm not talking about this guy either. This is the big one. But he's the little one. And he's almost done. So if I could find him, then he would be done. So, but I thank you for joining me this week. And that's what I'm working on. And I did have a lot of questions about my summer poncho. So if anyone is interested in a tutorial for that, you could leave something in the comments. And I would be willing to do a tutorial for that if I have enough people interested, because it is rather lengthy to do tutorials, but I would be willing to do one if enough people are interested in that. So just let me know by putting that in the tutorial, because this one is an easy one. This starts out just like a raglan sweater would start out, and it's pretty easy to follow. So just let me know and leave that in the comments if you were interested in that. But I thank you for joining me today, and I just would have you think about something that you're grateful for today. And I thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. Hopefully it will be on Tuesday. I should have maybe something done by then. Not any of these blankets. Maybe this wall hanging should be done. And I'm going to try to start doing Whip Wednesday, which would be works in progress, and maybe finish objects on Friday, and maybe just Tuesday with Mo. Even if I don't have anything done, I might just get on and talk. I've always wanted to do a crochet along, but I don't crochet in this room. I actually crochet from my bed, but that would be weird, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I could crochet from the couch, but I have to crochet somewhere that's comfortable on my back. So we'll see about that. That'll be something I'll think about. But thank you for joining me, and find something to be thankful for. I'm thankful to be inside and warm when it's so cold and yucky outside. But I thank you for joining me, and I will see you next week. And get out there and do something positive, and just love the people that are in your life and be thankful for them. Thank you.